Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop a like, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So I do believe it's very imminent that we do get another deal wrapped up this week, and that's very essential indeed. Obviously we've got our first signing on the board this summer in Daniel James, and obviously our first signing under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. So obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to want to build on that and bring another 4 or 5 more players in to Manchester United. But you can potentially see the deficiencies in the squad. You can identify the areas where we are currently lacking. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working on bringing players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture of the club, who he thinks of course going to fit the history of the club and all that. Because quite clearly these cultural problems at Manchester United. But he does want to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously he's worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. He wants to recommend a number of young players to come in that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars. And obviously I think we are moving away from the policy of signing well established players, because we have got a history of spending big on players, especially in recent years. Lukaku 75 million, of course Paul Pogba 89 million pounds, our most expensive signing. Quite a few people have said we should be sensible of our recruitment this summer, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to build a squad worthy of the club's history and all that. But I do believe in the next couple of seasons, like I've been saying on a regular basis too, I think our aspirations is going to be fighting for that top 4. That's going to be our aspirations. I think we're a number of years off from mounting any kind of title challenge, because obviously at the moment City is strides ahead of us, obviously Liverpool and that are strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative that we do catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. But like I said, we have been playing catch up for the last 5 or 6 years. We have been a toxic club in the last 5 or 6 years, since Alex Ferguson retired. A hell of a lot of money's been invested into the club. We've had different managers with different philosophies and all that. But like I said, hopefully we can get the players that we do want this summer, even though we haven't got Champions League football for next season, because Champions League football is always very pivotal, when you do want to get your number 1 targets. But we might have been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years, and it's going to take us a number of years to get back to being a competitive elite level football club. But like I said, regardless of who our current manager is, no one is ever going to follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. But I do hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But the quick question is now: is he going to succeed in these conditions? Because obviously we're not expected to appoint a sporting director in. That's very disappointing, because that's a structural change that we did need at the club, is getting a director of footballing and all that. There were so many names linked with that director's role at Manchester United. Obviously Ferdinand, Patrice Evra, Darren Fletcher, Paul Mitchell. So many names were linked with that director as well. And we've been looking to get a director of footballing at least for the last 2 or 3 months. But now it's confirmed we're not expected to get a sporting director in. So Ed Woodward, will be overseeing our transfer business this summer. So I'm very disappointed about that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I hope it works out under him, because I love him a lot. As you all know, he was a great player for us for 11 years under Alex Ferguson. Hasn't really got the experience of managing, hasn't really got that managerial experience, not to the highest level and all that. But I hope, he can take us forward, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because I still like him. Like I said, I don't want to sack him, because we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking managers, because we've already sacked 3 managers, of course, since Alex Ferguson, of course, retired and all that. But Solskjaer's also working on trying to keep his imperative players at the club this summer. I think probably 3, 4, maybe 5 players are expected to leave Manchester United. But like I said, we've got issues defensively. So we need to address our defensive, problems and all that. And that was proven last season, because we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League last season. So I think it's imminent that we actually, get a defender in, sometime this week. We definitely need a right back. We need about 2 new additions in that midfield, because it's looking like, Paul Pogba's going to be leaving. We need a replacement for Ander Herrera. And I think we also need a holding midfielder. We need a right winger. And of course, we need someone that can score us them goals, because like I said, last season, wasn't scoring enough goals. And all that, wasn't being ruthless enough in front of goals. So going on into this season, we need to see vast improvements, of course, because last season we finished 6th. We didn't win any silverware, and we haven't won any silverware in the last couple of seasons and all that. So hopefully, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward. But yes, a 200 odd million pound spending spree should be enough anyway to get us around 4 or 5 players on the board and all that. But like I said, there's so many players on our agenda. There's so many British players on our agenda, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents this summer. So I want to give you the latest news in regards to Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon. Now I hope somewhere online, we can come to an agreement of getting a deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, because he has been one of our priority targets as Bruno Fernandes. Now reports have been emerging out today saying that Liverpool have reportedly submitted a bid of around 45 million euros for Bruno Fernandes to sign him. I think this equates to around 40 million pounds in pound sterling that Liverpool have put in for him. I don't think 40 million pounds would be enough, to convince Sporting Lisbon to offload him. because I think Sporting Lisbon are demanding they want at least around £50 million for Bruno Fernandes. But I think Liverpool have been linked to him for the last week or two, because a lot of reports came out from the Portuguese press the other week, saying that Liverpool had entered the race for him. Obviously, Tottenham have also, been in there for Bruno Fernandes, but recent reports said now that Tottenham have pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes and all that, because like I said with Tottenham, they've got quite a few midfielders on their agenda and all that. Tottenham want to do transfer activity this summer. Obviously, Tottenham haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows, and like I said, Pochettino is going to want back in this summer, because I think he has threatened to resign as Tottenham manager if he doesn't get back this summer. But they were in for Bruno Fernandes, but recent reports have said, now they've ruled him out the move. So basically, they were seeing Bruno Fernandes as an alternative to Giovanni Lo Celso, because Giovanni Lo Celso has been one of Tottenham's main priority targets and all that. He does also say, waiting for Giovanni Lo Celso, but I think it came out a couple of weeks ago that, from Giovanni Lo Celso's preference, he wants to make the move to Tottenham and all that. But like I said, Christian Eriksen is linked to a move to Real Madrid, and obviously, if he goes to Real Madrid, Tottenham, of course, are going to want a replacement for him. So there has been quite a few midfielders on their agenda. I think Tanguy Ndombele is on their agenda. Obviously, I do believe Manchester United are still in for Tanguy and Ndombele, because that midfield area is one of the pivotal areas, of course, where Manchester United, do need to strengthen up. It also got reported out that Atletico Madrid have entered the race now for Bruno Fernandes. It did reportedly say, they're preparing to put a bid in of around £44.6 million for him sometime this week. So Atletico Madrid now entered the race. Obviously, Manchester City have previously been in for him, but it confirmed last week that Manchester City have pulled out of the race for Bruno Fernandes. It has been mainly Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling out for his services. I think when City were in for him, they were only willing to offer around £47 million for his services, but I do think City, willing to offer a couple of their players as part of the deal and all that. So Manchester City, were in for him. I think also, Inter Milan are also, in for Bruno Fernandes. So he has been subject to a lot of transfer speculation, because I think it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving Sporting Lisbon. Bruno Fernandes did say he would talk to Sporting Lisbon about leaving, if a big club come calling in, or if a team come in, with an offer, that he couldn't refuse and all that. But I'd still say, we're in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for him, because it reportedly said we are preparing to pay around £70 million for his services. But, it came out the other week saying that Ed Woodward, was very hesitant over our move for Bruno Fernandes, because I think Ed Woodward has got reservations about us, spending a big on players who he doesn't think are going to step up to the mark. And let's be honest, Bruno Fernandes hasn't, really played to the highest level as yet. But I do believe, guys, he would definitely, exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. And obviously, he's going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. He's had a good couple of years with Sporting Lisbon in Portugal, and I do believe, he can replicate this in the Premier League, of course. Obviously, it was mentioned that, he still follows the Italian football and all that, and watches Inter Milan and all that, because obviously, he spent the majority of his career in Italy, when he was younger. Obviously, the likes of Sampdoria and underneath and all that. But yeah, he's primarily an attacking midfielder, so we'd probably see him as the replacement for Paul Pogba. Like I said, only 24 years of age, so still very, very young. Solskjaer wants to develop a squad of young, hungry, homegrown talents, and I think Bruno Fernandes would be the right solution. I think he scored 31 goals last season for Sporting Lisbon. His initial release clause is around £86 million, but Manchester United blatantly made it clear we was not willing to trigger his release clause, and he is under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. But it did come out the other week that I actually said, we had scheduled a meeting with Sporting Lisbon, to get a deal finalised there for Bruno Fernandes. So I still believe, we are in the ascendancy and all that, but we've got to get a deal, wrapped up sometime this week. That's very, very imperative indeed. So yeah, Bruno Fernandes, recent reports have said anyway, Liverpool have put a €45 million bid in, which equates to around £40 million £40 million in pounds sterling and all that. So I don't think this will be enough, to convince Sporting Lisbon to currently offload him. So I'll still say we can get the deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, as we updated you earlier on with in regards to Youri Tielemans from Leicester, well, reports were emerging out last week, saying that we've revived our interest now in Youri Tielemans, and it did say we'd been in negotiations with Youri Tielemans' agent over a possible deal and all that. Obviously, he has now returned to Monaco, because obviously his loan spell has ended with Leicester. Obviously, he had been on loan with Leicester since January, so he's had about 5-6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, and he did well during his loan spell with Leicester. Did Youri Tielemans, but he does say Manchester United have been in for him. Obviously, we would see him as an adequate replacement for Paul Pogba, because it's looking likely that Paul Pogba is going to be leaving Manchester United. But Youri Tielemans is only 22 years of age, and he is available for a reasonable figure. I think Monaco rate him at around £40 million, but I think it has confirmed that Youri Tielemans has got no intentions of staying with Monaco next season. So I think he will be applying his trade somewhere else next season. But quite a few teams have been in for Youri Tielemans. Tottenham have previously been in for him. I think also Manchester City have been in for him. But I think he's mainly a box-to-box midfielder. I think he can also play him as an attacking midfielder. But now recent reports have come out now saying I think we've actually pulled out of the race now for Youri Tielemans, because it reportedly says we've been offered the chance, to sign Youri Tielemans, but reportedly, it does say, reportedly, we have rejected the opportunity, to complete a deal for Youri Tielemans. So I think, we're focusing on, getting a deal over the line for Sean Longstaff and all that first. But yeah, reportedly it says now we have rejected that chance, of course. But Youri Tielemans is a really, really good player, and I do believe he would be the right solution for Manchester United. Obviously, he's under contract with Monaco until 2022. But I think Leicester have been in talks of getting him on a permanent deal, because Youri Tielemans was pivotal in Leicester's transformation under Brendan Rodgers. So Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. Leicester have been in talks with Monaco about this. Initially, Monaco got him in 2017 for around £21 million from Anderlecht, because he initially began his career with Anderlecht. And I think Manchester United were tracking him when he was at Anderlecht, of course. So yeah, he's been on our agenda for quite some time. But reportedly now we have rejected the opportunity, to complete a deal for Youri Tielemans. But like I said, he's no intentions of staying with Monaco, for the next season. So I think it's looking imminent. He is going to be leaving, but he remains uncertain, where he will be applying his trade. But Leicester, are really, really keen on getting him on a permanent deal and all that. But like I said, we would see him as a replacement for Paul Pogba. But as I've updated you about Paul Pogba, it's looking very likely, he's going to be leaving Manchester United, Paul Pogba. He's going to be leaving Manchester United, as it did get confirmed yesterday that he told reporters in Tokyo that he does want to leave Manchester United, and he actually publicly announced this for the first time and all that. And I think he's also willing to submit a transfer request, but he says if it doesn't work with him submitting his transfer request, he said he will go on strike to force through a move from Manchester United to Real Madrid and all that. So we do know it's been Real Madrid and Juventus that have been heavily linked to him. They're battling out for his services. But I do believe Paul Pogba's first choice preference is Real Madrid. But we do know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is and all that. And, we've indicated that Paul Pogba is not for sale, because we're doing everything we can to try and convince him to remain at the football club. But basically, it was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans to build a squad around Paul Pogba. But it's looking like that Paul Pogba now is going to be leaving Manchester United and all that. And obviously, Paul Pogba is one of Zinedine Zidane's main priority targets. Obviously, Real Madrid have signed 5 players this summer, but Zinedine Zidane knows that Paul Pogba will help him with his rebuilding project and all that. I think also, like I said, Christian Eriksen is on Real Madrid's agenda, but obviously Christian Eriksen would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba and all that. But reportedly, I think we want around £150 million for Pogba. This is a figure, of course, that Real Madrid are reluctant to meet. I think Real Madrid are preparing to pay at the most of around £135 million for him. So the actual fee could be problematic for Real Madrid, because they don't want to pay £150 million. And I don't think, initially, Real Madrid are keen on the straight cash payment for Paul Pogba. So they have orchestrated something out. A lot of reports came out last week saying that Real Madrid were willing to offer Gareth Bale, or was it? Yeah, I think it was last week. Real Madrid were willing to offer Gareth Bale in a transfer offer for Paul Pogba and all that. But yeah, I don't think they're keen on a straight cash payment. But definitely, Paul Pogba does want to leave the club. But a lot of reports came out, was it the other week, saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing him. And it did say, I don't think Juventus have put any formal bidding for him, but it did say Juventus are interested in re-signing him. It did say, Juventus have been in negotiations with his agent, Raiola. And it basically also said, that Juventus have held a negotiation with Manchester United. Obviously, the Juventus director travelled to London, was it last week, to hold negotiations with Man United. Over the possibility of re-signing Paul Pogba, that I don't think he's keen on making the return back to Turin. Obviously, he did have 4 good years in Turin, did Paul Pogba. He exceeded expectation levels and all that. He did really, really well. But he hasn't really replicated his form, since he's come back to Manchester United. Obviously, we paid £89 million for him. But either way, more than likely, Juventus would have to offer, if they were going to get Paul Pogba, they would have to offload, at least 1 or 2 of their essential players, to fund the move for Paul Pogba, because I don't think they'd be able to afford Paul Pogba outright, Juventus. So it is Juventus and Real Madrid, of course, that are battling out for his services. But Paul Pogba was saying a while back, about his dream of playing for Real Madrid, and he did say at some point in his career he wants to play for Real Madrid. So maybe a couple of main factors why he wants to leave Manchester United, because maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players. He wants to rejuvenate his career. He wants to be in Champions League football. This is something Manchester United haven't got over next season. And obviously, wants to be competing and winning silver, and he's not experiencing this at Manchester United. So basically, he wants to rejuvenate his career. Don't get me wrong, Paul Pogba is still one of the best midfielders in world football. When he's playing in the right vein. When he's playing in the right manner and all that. And we have seen glimpses of Paul Pogba's best form. We mainly saw it in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was their interim manager. We mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba then. But like I said, we are going to need a replacement for him. It came out a couple of weeks ago saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was willing to offer him the captaincy in a bid, to convince him to remain at the football club and all that. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Paul Pogba's agent Raiola has been, in the process of trying to secure his move to Real Madrid. Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it for the third year. But he has been subjected to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. But like I said, I know how much of an imperative player Paul Pogba is, but I think he could, be actually beneficial for us to cash in for him, because it will help us with our rebuilding process, and of course it will help us with our transition and all that. But Paul Pogba, was subjected to a lot of transfer speculation last year, reflecting on his poor relationship he had with Jose Mourinho and all that. I think there were talks about him going to Barcelona in January. There was also talks about him, going to Juventus last year. But obviously, Mourinho got sacked, and that was one of Paul Pogba's best wishes. Now, Paul Pogba obviously has won the Europa League with us. Obviously, has won the League Cup with us. Obviously, that came in his second season with Manchester United. But yeah, I think he'll end up, making the move to Real Madrid, because he's blatantly, threatened to go on strike and all that. But yeah, I think he's going to be definitely leaving the club, as he did confirm yesterday. So, some people will be happy he's leaving. Some people, will be disappointed he's leaving. But we want around £150 million, of course, for him. But still 26, and in his prime, I still got a lot of years ahead of him as Paul Pogba. But yeah, I think he's going to be leaving now. So I do believe, like Youri Tielemans, would be the, the right replacement for him. But now I think, we've got reservations about Youri Tielemans at this moment in time anyway, because, we've rejected the opportunity, to complete a deal for him, because I think we have been given the opportunity, to conclude a deal for Youri Tielemans, but we've opted out at this moment in time. Obviously, Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, it should be looking likely, he's going to be coming to Manchester United. Sean Longstaff, it's looking likely he's going to be coming to Manchester United. Nothing's been fully finalised as yet, but reports came out the other day as I was reading up, and it did say, we are closing in on around a £25 million deal for him. Obviously, I think last season, or I think it was last season, yeah, it was Sean Longstaff's first season in the senior squad with Newcastle. He did graduate from their youth system. I think he did sustain a knee ligament injury back in March, did Sean Longstaff, and I think he's still recovering from this knee ligament injury, but he's only 21 years of age, plus he's British, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. He's also had loan spells with Kilmarnock, he's also had loan spells with Blackpool and all that. I think he's a box-to-box midfielder, so it's looking very imminent, that Sean Longstaff, of course, is going to be coming in. Obviously, as I've been updating you as well about Adrien Rabiot from PSG, he's still on our agenda. Whether he comes to Manchester United or not, I do not know. I think it still remains uncertain, where Adrien Rabiot, will be applying his trade next season. There is a slight possibility chance that he could re-sign for PSG, but I don't think it will happen, so I think he will apply his trade somewhere else next season. But recent reports have said that he's held negotiations with Juventus over the possible, move to the Italian giants. Also, Arsenal have been in for him, Liverpool, of course, have been in for him. It came out the other week, saying that Everton would also, in for, Adrien Rabiot, but I don't think Adrien Rabiot would want to go to Everton, because obviously Everton haven't got any European football. But the beneficial thing about this is obviously, no team would have to pay any transfer fee for Adrien Rabiot, because obviously now he's a free agent. I think he has come to an end of his contract term and all that, so you'd be able to get Adrien Rabiot on the free. But yeah, quite a few teams have inquired about his services, but it did come out a couple of weeks ago, saying that we'd offered him a lucrative contract, worth up to around 170 grand a week. Obviously, this equates, it equates to around £10 million a year, doesn't it? Because I think his signed on fee is around £10 million a year, so I think it does equate to that. So he did say Man United, were willing to meet his salary demands. I think he still remains uncertain about his future, but people have got reservations about Adrian Rabiot, with his attitude and all that, because he has got a bad attitude as Adrian Rabiot. Obviously, he hasn't played a single game for PSG this year, because obviously he'd been withdrawn from the PSG squad last year by Thomas Tuchel, based on his refusal to sign a new contract. He is only 24 years of age, is Adrian Rabiot. He has spent the majority of his career. With Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, he graduated from their youth system, been their senior squad since 2012, and he's been there 8 years, so he has been a long-serving player for PSG. I think he also had a spell with Manchester City, when he was younger, so he's had experience of playing in Manchester, but quite a few teams have been in for him. I think also Tottenham have inquired about his services. I think, Juventus are definitely now in there for him. Obviously, Umran, this is why might be Arsenal are interesting, because maybe Umran is keen on reuniting with Adrian Rabiot, because actually Adrian Rabiot, flourished under Umran's guidance, but I think he's primarily a central midfielder is Adrian Rabiot, so of course he's on our agenda and all that. So yeah, a number of midfielders on our agenda, because that's one of the pivotal areas where we do need to strengthen up. Joao Felix from Benfica, I do really like him a lot. It is Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for his services, but I like Joao Felix. I think we've been scouting Joao Felix since January, of course. And, he's been relentlessly, linked to a move away from Benfica. I don't know if Joao Felix is going to be leaving Benfica this summer. I think he remains uncertain about his future at the moment. I think Benfica blatantly made it clear, if they are willing to sell him, that his, buyout clause has to be triggered. And I think his buyout clause is around £105 million. But he's primarily attacking midfielder, can also play as a winner, a striker and a secondary striker. So very, very versatile. And I do believe, that, Joao Felix, can emulate into one of the best players in the world. Maybe not emulate into Ronaldo and Messi or the Neymar and all that, but I do believe he can emulate into one of the best in the world and all that. I do believe if he comes to the Premier League, it'll take his footballing career to the next level, because obviously he's not going to be intending on spending the rest of his playing career with Benfica. At some point, if he doesn't leave this summer, he's going to want to rejuvenate his career and all that. But yeah, Man United have been scouting him since January, like I said. Last season was only his first season in the senior squad with Benfica, and he did really, really well. And I don't think he's yet made his senior debut with Portugal, but he's only 19 years of age. I think Liverpool had a bid, turn down for Joao Felix back in January, so I still believe he's on Manchester United's agenda. Obviously, as he updated you earlier on as well, in regards to Mario Icardi from Inter Milan. So reports have been coming out today as I've read up, saying that Inter Milan have offered Icardi as part of a swap deal for Romelu Lukaku, because we do obviously know that Inter Milan are heavily linked with Romelu Lukaku, and obviously I think from Lukaku's preference, he wants to make the move to Inter Milan and all that. So it did initially say, that everything has been agreed, with Inter Milan and Lukaku, except the fee. Yes, so the fee has not yet come to an agreement. I think Inter Milan are in negotiation with us over coming to an agreement on a fee. It initially said, we want at least around £62 million. It came out a couple of weeks ago saying that we wanted around £80 million for him, but this is a figure, of course, that Inter Milan are reluctant to meet. Recently, Lukaku described Antonio Conte as the best manager in the world, so quite clearly Lukaku wants to play under Antonio Conte. Obviously, reflecting back a couple of years ago, back in 2017, wasn't it? Antonio Conte, wanted Romelu Lukaku when he was Chelsea manager, but obviously Lukaku came to Manchester United. But he initially said everything has been agreed. Inter Milan have agreed the personal terms, which means Lukaku could earn around 6.6 million in bonuses until 2024. He does initially say that he has agreed a 5-year deal with Inter Milan as Lukaku, and Inter Milan are willing to meet his wage demands and all that, but they just haven't come to an agreement on a fee yet. So we want at least 62 million, so we're looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, because obviously we paid £75 million for him. Obviously there were several add-ons included in the deal of around 15 million, so initially risen it to £90 million, and he has still got 3 years left on his contract, and he's on about £250,000 a week. But we've got to get rid of Lukaku, because he is one of the problematic players. He's no longer assured first team football at Manchester United. We told him a couple of weeks ago that he can currently leave, but he has been here a couple of seasons, enjoyed a difficult second season with the club, because we know mainly Marcus Rashford now his first choice ahead of him, and obviously Lukaku is reluctant, to play a backup role to Marcus Rashford. So this is probably why Romelu Lukaku wants to currently leave. But in his 2 seasons at Manchester United, I think he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. So his ratio is still very, very good in the Premier League. His pedigree is very, very good. He has scored a lot of goals and all that. But like I said, I've got strong reservations about him. He's too slow. He's not really, really good in the air. there. He's a big game bottle. He hasn't really got that endless potential. His footballing ability as well, concerns me. So I've got so many strong reservations about him. But he's 26, he has still got a lot of development in him as Lukaku. But yeah, I think it will be beneficial if we do sell him. Like I said, we sell Lukaku and Pogba, we'll probably raise around £200 million for that. So that's going to help us with our rebuilding process. And of course, it will help us with our transition. But as it did say, basically, we have been offered Cardiff in exchange for Romelu Lukaku, but I think Manchester United have turned this down because I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing Mario Icardi in, because obviously Inter Milan want to get rid of Mario Icardi. Obviously, as well as it reported out last week, saying Inter Milan had offered us a player plus cash offer, for Romelu Lukaku. So they did offer us Ivan Perisic, plus cash for Lukaku, but Manchester United turned this down because we know that Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target. It was a long-term target under Mourinho, but he's no longer now a Manchester United target. He's Ivan Perisic. And I think if we are willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, I think, we are demanding that we want Milan Skriniar from Inter Milan, but obviously Inter Milan are reluctant, to let Milan Skriniar go, because Milan Skriniar has just recently signed a new deal with Inter Milan, but he's obviously, been a long-term target for Manchester United. So, like I said, I think also Inter Milan need to raise around £40 million before the end of this month, to meet financial fair play regulations. So I did say that could be possibly a stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan. So I do think Lukaku will currently leave, but obviously, they've got to come to an agreement on a fee of Inter Milan and Manchester United and all that. I think from Inter Milan's perspective, they rate Romelu Lukaku at around £50 million. And as I have been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Wan-Bissaka from Crystal Palace, obviously I'm hopeful that we can get a deal more of the line for him. Obviously he's predominantly a right back, and like I said, we do need a right back. We need a replacement for Antonio Valencia. We need an upgrade to Ashley Young, and we do need a cover up for Diego Dalot. And I do believe Wan-Bissaka would be the right solution. He's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. He's actually our top priority. Is Wan-Bissaka. He did initially say we've held further talks at the weekend. During the weekend, we held further more talks with Crystal Palace over coming to an agreement on the fee for Wan-Bissaka. I'm still a bit sceptical of Wan-Bissaka coming to Manchester United. I don't think there's enough credibility in it as yet, but recent reports said we had a £40 million bid turned down from the other week, and I think we are preparing now to put around the £50 million bid in for Wan-Bissaka. Whether this will be enough to convince Crystal Palace to offload him or not, I do not know, because I think Crystal Palace initially want at least around their £60 million for him, but looking at ultimately, Crystal Palace don't want to sell him because they know how much of a central player that Wan-Bissaka is, but he's proven in the Premier League. Obviously he's going to want to rejuvenate his career. He's notified Crystal Palace that he wants to join Manchester United this summer, but reportedly Crystal Palace have basically said they want Wilfried Zaha's sell-on clause to be removed before they allow Wan-Bissaka, of course, to join Manchester United. So he is our top priority. Obviously, I think he made his senior debut for Crystal Palace in February of last year. So that's when he made his senior debut. So last season established himself as a first team starter. He's made 42 senior appearances for Crystal Palace. Initially, when he was younger, he was an out-and-out winner, but as he was developing, he got rotated as a right back, down Wan-Bissaka. But he has been on our agenda, for quite some time. So I'm very, very hopeful, that we can get a deal more of the line for Wan-Bissaka. I think also Tottenham have inquired about his services and all that. He has still got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace, but I do believe, he could end up, making the move to Manchester United. But I do really like him. He's proven in the Premier League, only 21 years of age, plus he's British, and I do think he's got the ability to elevate Manchester United at least in the next 2 to 3 years. So I like Wan-Bissaka a lot. As I did say, that I think probably 3 or 4 players are going to leave the club this summer. I think definitely Darmian's going to be going. I definitely think Marcos Rojo is going to be going, because looking at it ultimately, Darmian and Rojo, they've both endured difficult times at Manchester United, so it's obviously beneficial if we cash in for them both. I think we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds for Darmian and Rojo. Smalling and Jones, we know they're going to be here next season, but they shouldn't, because they are 2 problematic players. They're too inconsistent now for Manchester United. They have been long-serving players here. Smalling's been here here 9 years. You know, Jones, of course, has been here 8 years. And comparing them, I think Smalling's a much better defender than Phil Jones, but they are now too inconsistent at Manchester United. You know, it was a bad mistake from the club, you know, giving them 2 new long-term contracts and all that. So this is why I did say, you know, I think we need 2 central defenders. You know, we've got Eric Bailly, but like I said, with Eric Bailly, you know, he's initially lost his place in the team. Obviously, his Manchester United career has been badly affected. You know, the amount of injuries he's sustained. Obviously, you know, his fallout under managers. And I think we would be open to selling him. You know, we would be looking to recruit the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal 3 years ago. So yeah, we definitely, you know, need potentially, you know, 2 central defenders. But there has been so many central defenders on our agenda, and you know, there's been a lot of talks about Harry Maguire, you know, going on quite recently. It is Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling out for his services. But I think we are very confident that we can, you know, beat Manchester City to the signing of Harry Maguire, and we're confident that we can outbid Manchester City. And I think, you know, we are willing to offer more than Manchester City, because obviously, you know, I think it's been Manchester City's #1 target, you know, to replace Vincent Kompany. Leicester are demanding an extortionate amount. You know, they want around £80 million. You know, Manchester City are reluctant, you know, to pay up to £80 million for his services. I think from City's perspective, you know, they only rate him at around £50 million. But basically, looking at ultimately, you know, Leicester don't even want to sell Harry Maguire. They know how much of a central player he is to them and all that. But you know, this is why they're demanding you know, £80 million for him, because they have priced him out of the transfer market. But you know, Harry Maguire has been relentlessly linked to a move to Old Trafford since last summer, because obviously last summer, you know, our priority, you know, was to get a central defender in last summer. But obviously, it didn't happen last summer, because reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in and all that. But Harry Maguire last summer was one of the players that Jose Mourinho wanted. Obviously, you know, I think Leicester wanted around £70 million for him last summer, but we were reluctant, you know, to pay up to £70 million for his services. So this is why we didn't get Harry Maguire. But yeah, Leicester want around 80. Some reports say, you know, they want around £90 million. But recent reports have said, you know, we are preparing to spend £80 million on Harry Maguire, even though, for my own opinion, I don't think he's worth £80 million. But I still think he's a very good central defender. You know, he will help us, you know, he will address our defensive deficiencies and all that. I think he blended in very, very well alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. So we're ready to spend £80 million on him. I think Ed Woodward himself is keen on recommending him in, and I think we are willing to offer him a 5-year contract worth around £350,000 a week. Harry Maguire, from his preference, wants to join Manchester City, because obviously Manchester City are the dominant force at the moment. You know, they're dominating English football and all that. But I think first team football for him at Manchester City, you know, would be difficult, because obviously, you know, City have got John Stones in their backline, they've got Otamendi in their backline, and they've also got Laporte in their backline, so he'd struggle for first team football. But at Manchester United, you know, he'd definitely, you know, be assured first team football and all that. So first team football would be much easier for him at Manchester United than it would be for him at Manchester City. But you know, looking at it from a financial point of view, if Leicester do get £80 million, you know, they will make a huge profit on the player. Obviously, you know, Leicester got him from £17 million from Hull City a couple of years ago and all that, so they will make a huge profit. Obviously, he signed a new long-term contract last summer with Leicester, so he's under contract now with Leicester until 2023. I think he's proven in the Premier League. Plus, he's British, he's 26, he's in his prime and all that. But I think his defensive abilities are very, very good. But I think Harry Maguire, obviously, he's not going to intend on spending the rest of his career with Leicester. Obviously, he's going to want to rejuvenate his career, you know, take his footballing career to the next level and all that. But I think he was at Hull for quite a few years. I think he also had a loan spell with Wigan. And I think he actually began his career with Sheffield United, did Harry Maguire, graduated from their youth system, and I think he played about 166 professional games for Sheffield United. So, so it is Man United and Manchester City that are battling out for his services. But I think, you know, we could be in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for Harry Maguire. And that's very, very good news. That's very, very good news indeed. Obviously, with Matthias de Ligt for Ajax, I don't think Matthias de Ligt's going to happen. I think, you know, he's going to end up, you know, making the move to PSG. Is Matthias de Ligt, but it's looking very imminent, you know, that Matthias de Ligt is going to be leaving, but it still remains uncertain why he will be applying his trade next season, because I don't think he's yet made a decision on his future. But like I said, so many teams have inquired about his services, and you know, he's been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. But I think I forgot about Matthias de Ligt now, because I don't think he's coming to Manchester United. At one point, you know, it likely technically, he could have made the move to Old Trafford and all that. It did say, we'd offered him a lucrative contract, worth up to around 350 grand a week. Obviously, this equates to almost 17 million pounds a year, and obviously that'd make him the most expensive teenager in world football, also make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. But I don't believe he's coming to Manchester United, because I think from his own perspective, he wants to join a club that have got Champions League football. Manchester United haven't got this, and I think he also, wants to, go to a club that can assure him first team football, and definitely Manchester United would be able to assure him first team football and all that. But I think his two likely destinations now are Barcelona and PSG. But recent reports have actually said now that I think Barcelona have turned it down. I don't think Barcelona are no longer in for Matthijs de Ligt, but I think they are. The Barcelona and PSG anywhere looking at ultimately are the two the two favourable teams, to get the players' signature and all that. But at least in the last couple of months anyway, Barcelona have been in the ascendancy of getting him, even though reports came out a couple of weeks ago saying that the talks were stalled, between Matthijs de Ligt and Barcelona, because obviously, Barcelona were not willing to meet what de Ligt was demanding and what his agent Raiola was demanding. So basically, they couldn't come to an agreement on the terms. And Barcelona, I think, are still refusing, to meet, what de Ligt and his agents demanding and all that. So I think now Barcelona have dropped him out of the race. I do believe now PSG are in the ascendancy, because PSG are willing to meet, the terms. They're willing to offer better terms than Barcelona. It says PSG are willing to offer around, they've offered Ajax £70 million reportedly, plus add-ons including. I think it did say the other day that they've offered Matthijs de Ligt a 5-year contract worth around £340,000 a week. And I think are PSG under financial fair play? So they've got their eye on that financial fair play, obviously, because they have spent big in the last couple of seasons on Neymar and Mbappe and all that, the two most expensive players in the world. But yeah, I think, he could be playing his trade in France next season with Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, Raiola has been negotiating, with PSG's sporting director over getting a deal finalised and all that. But so many teams have been in for him. Like I said, Liverpool have been in for him. Like I said, the main factor reason why Liverpool were in for him, because obviously, Liverpool have got Van Dijk, and they would be keen on putting Matthijs de Ligt alongside Virgil van Dijk, because they've got a good relationship. They know each other really, really well. But I don't think now Liverpool are currently in for Matthijs de Ligt. Even though I read in reports a couple of weeks ago, as I did update you on, it did basically say from Matthijs de Ligt's agent Raiola's perspective, he would like his client to make a move to Liverpool, because maybe Raiola believes that Liverpool would be the right solution for Matthijs de Ligt and all that. Manchester City were in for him at one point. Juventus have been in there for him. Also, Bayern Munich were in for him, but now they've pulled him out of the race with Bayern Munich. So many teams have been in for him. Obviously, in terms of the transfer fee, he's probably going to cost you from between 70 to 75 million pounds. But only 19 years of age, like I said. So far, he's had a good career, with Ajax. He's spent the entirety of his career so far with Ajax. Obviously, made his senior debut at the age of 17. He got named captain at the age of 18 and all that. And Ajax last season won the domestic double for the first time in 17 years. Won the Eredivisie title for the first time since 2014, and of course, progressed to Champions League semi-final. So did really, really well. Matthijs de Ligt is the only defender as well, to win the Golden Boy Award. I think he won this last year, but I don't think now, he will be coming to Manchester United. But he has been on our agenda, for quite some time, because he is definitely going to be leaving Ajax. Looking likely he'll go to PSG, but it still remains fully uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But like I said, so many players on our current agenda. So we've got Daniel James on the board, and I think probably after Daniel James, it should be Bruno Fernandes, it should be Wan Bissaka, then it should be Harry Maguire, hopefully. So that actually, there could be our next free signs, or Sean Longstaff as well. He's also included. But like I said, we do need a massive overhaul this summer. But looking at it, none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. He's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. Well, Daniel James is, but apart from that, none of it says. He's inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. He's inheriting players here from Van Gaal. There's Matari from the David Moyes era. There's still 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era, of course. And I'm very, very hopeful that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take us forward. Like I said, I want him to stay at Manchester United. I hope it works out for him, because I love him a lot. He was a great player for us under Alex Ferguson. Obviously, one of his most iconic moments as a player was in 1999, of course, when he did score that late goal in the Champions League final against Munich at the Nou Camp, and of course won as the treble. And that's obviously one of the club's greatest achievements and all that. But like I said, I hope, he can take Manchester United forward. Like I said, we have got really, really good players, just not blending in as a team. They're not gelling together as a team. Like I said, you can buy the best players in the world. If they're not playing as a unit and they're not playing as a team, of course, it isn't going to work out for you and all that. But like I currently said, another problem with Manchester United as well, we have like far too many players' contracts run down. That's obviously, been another issue. Like I said, it's looking like, David De Gea is going to be leaving. So obviously we want to cash in for him this summer rather than letting go on a free transfer next year, because that would be a calamity if we let David De Gea go on a free transfer next year. I think his likely destination is going to be PSG, because obviously PSG now have stepped their interest up, because obviously Buffon has left PSG. Full value for the goalkeeper, David De Gea is worth £100 million, but we're not going to get 100 million for him because he's in the final year of his deal. But again, he's been a good servant to the club as De Gea, and we've got quite a few players here now that have been long-serving players at the club. Like I said, Smalling's been a long-serving player here, Jones has been a long-serving player here, obviously, Ashley Young's been a long-serving player here, obviously, Valencia's been a long-serving player here, but obviously, Valencia is leaving him and all that. But like I did basically say, Matt's been a long-serving player here. He's been here 5 years and all that. But De Gea's had a good, I've admired his fantastic career with Manchester United. Like I said, he's been here 8 years. Hasn't really done much wrong in his 8-year period. Like I said, he did make some costly mistakes towards the back end of last season, but that was mainly to do with a contractual situation. He did reportedly say that De Gea wants around 350 grand a week from Manchester United. So basically, he wants to be one of the highest paid players at the club alongside Sanchez. But reportedly, he did say Manchester United are not willing to meet his current wage demands, and reportedly PSG are willing to meet his current wage demands. Obviously, we do know Real Madrid have been long admirers of him. Real Madrid have been linked to him for I think Real Madrid have been linked to him for about 3 or 4 years at least. Reflecting back in 2015, Real Madrid were on the brink of getting him, but due to a fax machine, the deal, of course, never materialised. I think also, Juventus have been there for him. But David De Gea is potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. He's still got a lot of development in him. He's only had 28 years of age and all that, and he has won everything here domestically. He's won the club's player of the year 4 times out of the last 6 years as De Gea. I think we definitely need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him, even though I don't think it's in Solskjaer's plans to buy a goalkeeper to replace him, because I think he's willing to promote Sergio Romero as our number 1 goalkeeper. Like I said to you, I've got reservations about this because I don't think Sergio Romero is yet reliable enough, to become our number 1 goalkeeper. Dean Henderson, we've got him, but he's too inexperienced at the moment, like I said. So I think with Dean Henderson, he needs to gain a bit more experience. He has been on loan with Sheffield United and all that. So I think we need to orchestrate on loaning Dean Henderson out for another season and all that. So yeah, we need to buy a goalkeeper to replace him. But there's been quite a few names mentioned. A lot of talks of Jan Oblak going on last week, saying that he wanted to leave Atletico Madrid, due to broken promises and his preferences to come to Manchester United, because I think he was a Manchester United fan as a child and all that. But yeah, I did say he wanted to leave Atletico Madrid. Obviously, Jordan Pickford's been spoken about. Obviously, Andrea Onana for Ajax has been spoken about. So who would you get, to replace David De Gea at Manchester United? But yeah, there's nothing much really more to say. But like I said, hopefully we can get Bruno Fernandes in. Hopefully we can get Wan Bissaka in. Hopefully we get Harry Maguire in, and it's looking likely, that Sean Longstaff is currently going to be coming in. With Youri Tielemans, I'm not too sure about him yet, like I said, because now reportedly, we have been offered the opportunity to sign him, but reportedly now we have declined the opportunity. We have declined the opportunity. To complete a deal for Youri Tielemans. So yeah, I still believe he's on our current agenda, but more things will update him about him. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.